Dungeon Crawler Network presents Tales of Tamriel.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 103 of Tales of Tamriel. I am your host, Aggelos, and I want to wish everyone a very happy Easter morning, because that's when we are recording. Also with me this morning, wide-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and not really Khajiit, even though he does like them, Avi Optimal. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I kind of forgot it was Easter. Happy
Yeah.
Easter. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
Wow.
It's Easter. It's Easter Sunday right now.
It's gonna be a busy family day for me today.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about it.
Yep, me too. There's my wife's probably upstairs right now taking pictures of the little one because he's got a nice little Easter outfit that he needs to be in, and yeah,
It's his first Easter.
it's his first Easter. So of course his grandmother bought like an Easter basket. It's like this huge. It's just massive.
That's nice.
Which is good because he doesn't eat candy yet. That means all of his candy goes to daddy. And I like that. It
There's a
works.
positive. Yeah.
It's kind of like his first Halloween. He got all this candy, and that means I got it. And I approve of that. Also, the man who, he's finally on the right time and is, with the rest of us. That would be Nate, a.k.a. Misa. How are you, sir?
Powerfully well, thank you. Powerfully well.
Powerfully well. That's awesome.
Currently leveling up my brother's new Ebonheart DK in Chadenol. And having a good time doing that, trying to get into vet ranks so that we can play a bunch of dungeons together.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also want to say thank you and welcome to the chat room. We have quite a few people in chat right now. Slayton in the game right now, as he just sent me a message going, he put a bunch of void steel in for me because I need it so much. So thank you so much for that. Yes, chat room. Fantastic. Wicked Wolf says, you didn't dress that poor boy in a bunny suit, did you? Don't you remember Ralphie from the Christmas story? I have no control over what Thieves does, and I'm scared to try to stop her. We actually didn't put him in a bunny suit, but he does have bunny ears. So I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not. He just kind of looks up at me and goes, "Daddy, why aren't you stopping me?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're on your own. Sorry. Use your thum, blow her away. Just that's it." But yeah. So all right, we're gonna go ahead and move right on into the news, and Avi's gonna take over our news section right now. So news section, Avi, there you go, man.
All right, here we go. Well, first up on the news, The Elder Scrolls Online had a patch, 2.3.7. The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited 2.3.7 is a incremental patch that fixes some issues surrounding the Thieves Guild content, general gameplay, quest, UI, and more. The size of the patch is approximately 205 megabytes. Nice.
One of the things I was looking at in here, where was it at? I just looked at it. They fixed some things with Mall of Lorcage trial that now apparently you can't get the achievements unless you actually have it set to VR 16. I guess there was a bug where achievements were getting dished out to people who were doing veteran, but it would do it no matter what rank you were doing it on, so people were kind of cheesing it and doing it at low levels.
Oh, I didn't know that. Would have done it.
Would have done it. I don't I don't know. I mean, we were working on it in on normal mode, which we'll talk about in Tales, but it's still not a pushover. I'm sure even at lower veteran ranks, it's kind of difficult.
Yep, that's for sure.
Nate, did you attempt any of the new trial?
No, I haven't done any of the trials.
Really?
No, I've done none of them. I haven't done a single one. I think we tried Ethereal Archive at one point, but it was with one of my PvE guilds. They were doing kind of like a learning run, and so they'd taken about 10 people who'd never done it before, which, like, within about 10 minutes, it turns out this is a disastrous idea. This is never going to work. So, so we gave up doing that. I'd love to do it, and I do plan on doing it. It's one of the things I'm planning on doing. Sort of when I finished all the story mode stuff, it's kind of one of those things, right? I just don't want to go through and do everything as quickly as possible. And as soon as I finish, like, the next big batch of story mode stuff, another thing comes out. Plus, I play a lot of PvP as well in Cyrodiil, so I've just never. I want to do it, just never have so far. So.
Chat room right now is talking about terrible costumes in real life, and it's hilarious. I'm watching it right now. I just ate cat fur because my Khajiit just decided she's gonna sit in my mouth the entire time.
That sounds delicious.
Bad cat.
Bad kitty, bad Khajiit.
Yeah, I was gonna make a dirty comment, but I'm like, that might be crossing the line a little bit, so maybe I won't. Something about a mouthful of kitty cat.
Yes, indeed.
But different word.
Ah.
You guys know what I'm talking about. All right.
Yes, everybody knows what you're talking
Everyone knows. It's kind of like that episode of Family Guy when they were talking about all about the beads, and all the guys are throwing the strings of beads. Except for Quagmire, who you see just pulling beads like this, and
he's
you go,
like, you know what's going on here.
The kids don't, but you do. Yeah. We're not family friendly anymore. All right, Avi, what's up next on the news docket?
Well, if I step away from fishing, Thieves Guild launches on consoles, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. What was it? Wednesday was the final console patch for Sony, so now everyone on console is able to enjoy that, which is the Thieves Guild. So that's always exciting.
Yep. I highly recommend buying it. It's very, very worth it. It changes the whole game.
I highly recommend subbing, but that's me.
Yes, definitely. Subbing's very much worth it, but if you can't sub, then
if you can't sub, you should buy it.
You should buy it.
I was man, I just keep wanting to talk about things that I was doing in the game, but I realized, like, I was doing some quests with Thais this week, and I saw a Thieves Trove, and I'm like, I'm gonna make her get it. She'll love it. And then she went to get it, and she didn't have Thieves Guild, so she couldn't open it. So I'm kind of upset about that, but I'll have to buy it for her.
That's a shame. Yeah, you got to get it for her.
I know, but we're still working our way through gold content, so I'm sitting there going, she's like, I don't want to sub because I don't get to play that often, so you sub, I won't sub. I'll just buy crowns when I need it.
Right.
Which is fine. I bought her Arsenium, but we're still working through gold, and at the rate that we're doing it, we get maybe 1 or 2 nights a week to actually do any questing. Not tons, just 1 or 2 nights a week. And in that 1 or 2 nights, we finish maybe 2 quests on average. So, I mean, it takes us a while to finish zones. I mean, we're about 65% through Oridon right now, but that's just the first zone of many. And then we have to do Craglorn yet, then we have to do Orsinium before we even get to Thieves Guild, because we like doing everything in order, because it's all timeline-wise for us, so we're doing it all in order. Hence why, I guess we could actually probably do Thieves Guild before. I guess it doesn't really matter, because Orsinium and Thieves Guild, even though they came out at different times, it all sort of happens timeline-wise around the same around the same time. You could arguably say it's happening at the same time.
Are there dolmens in Craglorn?
No.
Okay.
There's one unfinished one, but that's about it. but that's why we wanted to finish the main story, was because like there's still dolmens. If you look at it in terms of story wise, there's still dolmens and things going on in
gold content.
In gold content, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, we're behind on the story. So, for those watching the stream right now, I'm on my alternate Templar character, and I'm attempting to use the random looking for group dungeon finder for the first time. So that's going to be exciting.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I'm not ever used the dungeon finder since they've updated it with the rewards. So I just now queued myself up, and I am awaiting this. Oh, almost 30k experience. That's not bad, and a daily bonus reward for normal dungeon. I'm excited. Hopefully I get somewhere.
Alright, so
But yeah, consoles are finally got everything. I haven't heard anything really negative about the consoles yet, meaning I haven't heard, I don't want to say negative, I want to say I haven't heard anything like they've run into a ton of problems like the PC had, because we had a few incremental patches afterwards that fixed a lot of the crash bugs, and I know they talked about the crash bugs on the ESO Live, like why it happened, because someone asked a question which I didn't write down, but I'll mention. They're like, are there any plans to slow down development?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And Rich Lambert was saying, like, they had some problems and they weren't proud of them in this one, and that they don't want to release like a ton of stuff, 64-bit and multi-platform stuff all at the same time again. Like, it was a roundabout way of saying, yeah, that was too much. We get it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to lower the content, though. I think they just, even the way he mentioned it, it was a perfect storm. We updated from DirectX 9 to DirectX 11, which was a big change. Yeah. We added the 64-bit client, which was a big change. These changes are what caused a lot of the issues that they weren't prepared for. But even he mentioned there was nothing that was big on the docket going forward that required so much back-end work on the engine, like the DirectX 11 and the 64-bit client. So future updates will be not less content, but less back-end systems that tend to be buggy. You know,
I think they did a good job overall, because I play on PC and Mac. So I have my gaming PC, which is my primary gaming rig, and then I use Macs for everything else. But occasionally, if I'm not at home, or if I'm at the office, or I travel quite a lot for my job, so I take Macs with me for that. And the difference they've made on both, the 64-bit client, the upgrade to OpenGL that they did for Macs, like, they've made a big difference, I think. And the 64-bit client on PC is generally pretty good. The crash, I haven't had a single crash since they updated it, not one, which is pretty impressive overall, I think.
Oh, I completely agree. That is amazingly impressive.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that a little later. I wanted to mention that the consoles have been. I don't think they've experienced quite the amount of errors, because we get it a month ahead of time. So
yeah, they're a little more prepared.
As I take a drink to try to get this cat hair out of my mouth. My goodness, Pinello. Ooh, really?
Myths of Sheogorath, Volume 1.
Ooh.
Just discovered this in Cyrodiilic Dungeon. Yeah, it's a good book.
Some people in chat, I wanted to mention this as well. Now here, if you have questions, when we get to the mailbag section, I really do encourage people, like, I'm going to open that up going forward for the mailbag, that if you have questions you want answered, save them for the mailbag, and when we get to that point, we will answer chat questions. Like, I think that would be a really good time to answer any random chat questions people have about the game, about anything that you really want to know. We'll save it for the mailbag section. So if you have questions about Templar, save them for then, and we'll chat about them. Does that sound good, guys? Like, that sounds like a good idea to get questions in.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right.
Well done. Well thunk, sir.
I'll just, I would love to answer some questions from the groups of people here, and if that would be a good time. So if anyone has questions, save it for the mailbag, and we'll go through our written letters, and then we'll check chat. So that works.
Sounds good to me. So, moving along with the news, the weekly vendor has came out, and it's an exciting one, guys. It's the Engine Guardian Helm Infused, Leki's Ring, and the Ring of Vicious Death. Are now on. Yes. So I bought the.
I just
bought the
got
Engine Guardian Helm,
a dungeon group too, by the way. That was like 5 minutes. I mean, that was really quick, even as a damage dealer.
Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah, I just felt like I'm gonna throw that in there real quick because, dear heaven above, as a damage dealer, I can't get Qs that fast in WoW.
The Vicious Death?
Oh, Vicious Death.
Man, that thing's the bane of my life right now in Cyrodiil. I'm not kidding. Like, that thing just drives me mental. The amount of times that I get like 15, 16,000 points of damage off one of those of Vicious Death, it's crazy. Like, I like that it's there because I think it helps control like giant Zergy mobs, which is good. You know, that's not my playstyle or my guild's playstyle, so that's quite nice. But it really pisses me off that it's only light armor. Like, I really want that to be medium or heavy armor because I want it, but I'm not taking a light piece of light armor into Cyrodiil. Like, it's just not practical. Right.
Are you running mostly like medium or heavy?
Yeah, I'm running four heavy and 3 medium, or is it 4 medium and 3 heavy? It's one of those two, and and for the most part, it works pretty well. I am a little bit squishy, but I need the stamina, and particularly now they took all the champion points away from Azura's Star, which is one of the campaigns. Resources are just, you constantly run out of resources. Like, it's so bad. Like, my guild is basically split in half at the moment because half people want to move to True Flame where the champion points are still intact, and half want to stay where they aren't intact. And personally, I'd rather move because it's just, the difference it's made is terrible for me.
For you, right? I actually, if you're not, there's a conversation, and I'm gonna shout this guy out because he really is a fantastic part of the community, and I want to talk, with him a little bit more. Hero of None has been very active on the forums and opening up these big discussion topics about big issues that he sees in the ESO community, and one of them is the non-vet campaign, like why it is dead, why it is the way that it is. And
non-vet or non-champion?
Non-champ, the vet non-champion. There we are.
It's because it sucks. Is why it's dead. I mean, in the EU side, it is dominated by Aldmeri Dominion. Like, you can log on there at basically any time of day, and it is 3 bars of Aldmeri Dominion, 0 bars of red or blue. Last night's, it's pretty bad, to be honest, because so many of the guilds and the sort of the more hardcore players have moved to where they've got champion points. For better or worse, there are plus and minus points to be said about that. But it's kind of meant that you've been left with just a lot of very average activity that, for me at least, is just really disappointing, and low population, and it's not a lot of fun right now.
Right. Yeah, I know Vicious Death right now. What was really funny is before it came out on the PvP vendor, it was selling on the North American Mega server for minimum price I saw was half a million, with it going as high as 1.5 million for a Ring of Vicious Death.
Yeah.
Wow. It has since changed. It was funny, the day it came out, people are now trying to offload their stuff for insanely cheap prices. It's down as low as 50K now.
Yeah, it's plummeted because it's been easy to buy and trade. But I think, it's a good thing. It's a good piece of armor to have, and I can see why people like it. But, and I'm not complaining about like dying too much, or it's a shame for things to be leveled out where you can't just spam abilities. Like, it's you have to play a bit more tactically now without the champion points, and I like that. I just get frustrated that what seems to be the case is that a lot of the players just use exactly the same build, so every time you die of exactly the same, it's the exact same cause of death. No one is you know, they're not spamming abilities, but they're also not varying their abilities either. They're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it's quite frustrating. It's quite frustrating.
Before we have Avi talk about the last two things that are on there, I do want to ask one more question of you while we're here, since you do PvP a good bit. I know you said how you're kind of upset that this build or this stuff doesn't come in a medium or heavy armor, but with the type of build that it requires, I know we actually died in Cyrodiil. If you watched our live stream on Thursday, someone killed one guy killed like 12 of us because he Zerg bombed us. He came in, he, you know, proximity damnation. I'm sure he had this thing because we all just exploded. One person died.
Proxy detonation is a weird one because it does a few thousand damage to one person if it just hits one, but actually the more people you hit with it, the damage increases 10% per person. So you can effectively double the damage by hitting a ton of people at once. And you generally then get large numbers of users in a big ball, all activating that at the same time, and it just annihilates the group.
Right. But if this thing, and the reason why I'm saying this, do you think maybe one of the reasons why they did it only in light is because no one wears light in Cyrodiil because it makes you super squishy? Could you imagine someone running Proxy Det, Vicious Death, but in heavy armor? You wouldn't be able to. Your only really hope with this is either to spread out or kill the guy before he gets it all off.
Yes,
but
the reason I'm annoyed is because it would be super crazy OP, and that's just incredibly satisfying when I feel that the campaign itself has given us some sort of a handicap.
Okay.
And to be fair, the handicap wouldn't be quite as bad if the population was better. If it was more averaged out. If it felt like 3 alliances fighting each other, it wouldn't be so bad. But when it's 2 alliances fighting each other, it becomes very, very challenging because you kind of know which zones are going to be very heavily populated and which areas are just going to be full of enemies. But I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think you're probably right. It gives you a realistic handicap by, you know, you need 5 pieces of it. The thing you want is when you kill an enemy, they explode for like 15,000 points of damage in an area. It's an AoE effect damage. So if you kill somebody and they explode and they've got 3 people near them with half health, you're going to take them out as a result of taking 1 person out. But you do need 5 pieces of it equipped in order to get that perk, and having 5 pieces of light armor in Cyrodiil means, you know, you're quite squishy. You need a pretty customized build to stay alive with that if you're playing solo in particular.
Right. And I think, honestly, as it just talking from a design point of view, I think it was probably a calculated reason why they did that, because, you know, the whole idea of glass cannon, you hit like a truck, but you don't have survivability. If you had both survivability and that kind of mayhem, why would anyone do anything else? Right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It is all about balance. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there may be some people listening thinking that, you know, that I'm completely wrong and I'm talking nonsense, but it's at least based it, you know, you can judge a lot of these things only by your experience. And currently the experience in Azura Star on the EU mega server is such, you know, that my opinions, I think, are probably accurate for that setup. But, you know, your server experience may vary. And, you know, in groups where you've got good groups with decent healers and, you know, a decent balance of survivability and damage in a group, then, yeah, it may not actually be that beneficial to have Vicious Death. Nor may it be that much of a hindrance to succumb to it. But I don't know.
I definitely feel like in that situation, depending on how organized your group is, that would be something that you would want like one person to run. You know, designate one person in your group to be the Zerg Buster, and you guys protect him at all cost, right?
Well, do you mean a tank?
Well, he would be wearing light armor, so.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right? Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of true, and I think that it's true. I mean, it's such an obvious. It's a PvP. It's designed for PvP, and it is. You know, it's something you definitely only want to use in PvP. It really doesn't benefit you to have that in a PvE environment, really.
No, not to the scale like you.
Unless you're farming. If you're farming for like helms or something, and you're just taking out loads of mobs, then that could be quite useful, I suppose. But...
See, I don't even...
We probably got everyone switching off by this point.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. All right, Avi, continue.
Okay. So next up is excuse me, is ESO Live. Episode 32 happened. So I'm gonna go through some of the highlights of the show. If you guys want to discuss anything, just feel free to jump in and interrupt me. I do not mind at all.
Right.
But it was featuring Rich Lambert and Kyle Harris. Who exactly is Kyle Harris? Do you remember?
I wrote it down, and I don't think I wrote it on the notes. Nate, do you remember who Kyle Harris is? And I apologize if Kyle Harris is actually watching this. All I know is he has a really awesome like Fallout shirt. But
he had Fallout, and he had something else, didn't he?
Yeah, he was wearing like everything Bethesda, which was pretty cool. I cannot remember, and I apologize right now. I honestly cannot remember what his role at ZeniMax was.
All right.
Oh, now I feel bad. I wrote it down, and I even said to myself, I need to make sure this goes on the notes. And what did I do? Not put it on the notes.
Well,
come on, chat room, help out. I'm fighting a mob, otherwise I'd be Googling it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fishing here. If we did anything though, we complimented his T-shirt. So,
we did, yeah.
There's that.
T-shirt was deserved of compliments.
So
all right,
so
he's the QA lead. Kyle Harris, he is the QA lead. So he is the man in charge of quality assurance, which is what QA stands for.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I've not actually spoken or heard of him, because I've spoken to several of
he's been on before
developers. Has he? I don't remember.
I seem to remember a very sort of charismatic dude in a baseball cap appearing on the show before, but
well, they have lots of those, so
I was gonna say it might be more than just one. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we won't get hung up on that. So
all right. Well, next up was something we already sort of mentioned was Thieves Guild officially launched on all platforms. So now you can get it on Xbox and the PS4, which you definitely should.
I think the reason why they even mentioned that, because we all knew it, is the reason why they didn't do an ESO Live in a little while. It's been a while since they've done one, and
26th of Feb was the last one, I think.
26. Yeah, it's been a little over a month, or almost a full month. And it was because of the launch of this that they wanted to not take time away from anyone while they're launching the console versions of this game.
It's understandable. Next up, the incremental patch 2.3.8 drops on PC and Mac on Tuesday instead of Monday, so you'll be able to play Monday morning.
Yeah, and this is, and you know, I really got to give it to the ZeniMax on this one. I mean, maybe some people might think it's a moot point one way or the other, but the reason why they did this was because they knew it was a holiday, and I don't have off Easter Monday. I know several other people do. Yeah, I actually start my new job tomorrow, so I'll be starting my new job of system administrator at another institution tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. A little nervous, but you know, whatever. Been in the same job for like 8 years, so obviously I'm a little nervous just because it's new. And
I feel you.
Yeah, it's just because it's new. But yeah, starting there. But they wanted to have it so if people had off for Easter Monday, that they wouldn't have to sit through a maintenance. So, you know, it might be a little bit of a moot point, but I appreciate it because I don't like going out of my routine. Like, if I have a specific routine, I don't like leaving it to do something else. I'd be like, yeah, I don't care if people have off. I would have done it. But that's just me.
Well, my day off's Tuesday, so thanks, guys. No, kidding.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, yeah. I guess I won't be playing Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's all right.
Their maintenances normally don't last terribly long anyway,
Hey,
and it's
my new computer will probably update it nice and quick. So
yeah, well, it's probably just gonna be a small incremental anyway, but it's just a matter of
hey, my old computer, when one of those things came out, I got put into a loading screen for like 10 minutes almost. Ask
Wow.
Krabby. He had to deal with me on pledge night, waiting for me to do like the longest loading screen of history. So, anyways, next up, March 28th, North American console sale on Crown Packs in Game End.
What do I have written on there? Hold
Game
on.
End.
End game. Sorry, I meant to
Oh.
put end the game. I don't know why I did that.
Okay.
That was, Crown Packs / game, meaning that both Crown Packs end the actual game.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Game End. Okay.
Yeah, game ends. So the sale ends.
It's early for me, folks.
I know. And I just have bad grammar, so while I'm listening to the notes, I'm frantically typing on notes, and it's just like, okay, yeah, nope, that's good enough. I'll fix it later, and I just never fix it. So,
All right. Well, the 28th, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So by the time you guys are listening to this, if you're not watching it live, the console sales end then. But I think it also says on here that Sony has a European sale that goes all the way till the 4th for some reason.
That's right. Until April 4th.
I wonder why they. Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know why they're doing the EU side longer than the American side. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Well, it's the console sale on both Xbox and PlayStation.
According to what they're saying, it's just the Sony side is going a little longer.
Okay.
Well,
no, I meant the one that ends
Oh,
tomorrow.
yes, that's everybody.
Okay, so it's just Sony. Okay.
Yeah, that just Sony on the EU side.
Because Xbox sucks. So, anyways.
I know that European mega server has been having some issues of late. Like even this morning, as I was getting ready for the show, I kept seeing a bunch of people on Reddit just going, "Hey, you know, are the EU servers down again?" Because they were just having some issues. And this was this morning, and people were asking if they were getting DDoS'd again or whatever. And I saw a tweet from the official Elder Scrolls Twitter that they are having issues. So they've been having issues the past few days with the console side of things. So I don't know why that would be, but it could be maybe a bit of compensation on their side. I don't know.
All right. Well, next up we have Cyrodiil Performance, actively working on internally. Even though there wasn't anything in 2.3.7, more fixes coming 2.3.9. So not this next Tuesday's patch, but the week after.
Mm-hmm.
So next Monday.
And they were talking about this and even since Thieves Guild, I'm sure, Nate, you can probably attribute, I've talked to some other people, that performance has gotten better. I mean, it's not great, but it's not better.
So in Azura Star, which is all I can really speak of right now,
Right.
it has got better. However, what has also happened is that a whole ton of people have left for the reasons aforementioned to do with the lack of champion points now. So it's really difficult to work out whether the performance has improved as a result of what they've done to make it better, or simply because far fewer people are actually in the campaign now.
I see.
You know? Because I've heard from friends in True Flame, which is where most of the hardcore guilds have moved to, because they still have the champion points and things, that in fact the problems persist over there as much as they used to on Azura Star.
Really? Because I actually been maybe on the North American side, I don't know if it's much different, but I've been talking to a lot of people in various guilds and that do heavy PvP have stated that it has gotten significantly better, whereas even in big groups, ping doesn't go above 200 or just barely, whereas before it was sitting in the, like 900 plus.
Well, yeah, ping has got a bit better, but that's not the only issue that they have. They have issues with frame rate as well, and like you can have a very low ping and still only hit 15 frames a second ping. Like last night, for example, I was playing. I had about 100 ping, and just so you know, my rig, I have two NVIDIA GTX 980s in SLI configuration with what was at the time, this is about a year ago, the highest end quad-core Intel i7 CPU and 32 gigs of RAM. Right,
Ooh.
so it's basically tricked out machine. Last night, even though I had 100 ping, I had about 15 to 25 frames a second on average. With a rig like that. And that, there were like 50 players in the same area at one point, and that's a lot, and a lot of that relies on the CPU rather than the GPU. So it's been quite problematic, and it's not just to do with latency and ping, unfortunately. And I think this is why they're having to roll out some of these issues on a sort of a very light touch basis with each incremental patch, because there are so many things that cause the problems that are being reported that they can't fix them all at once, and they also can't test them easily without them being on the live server. So I think overall it is getting better. I would happily say that it seems to be improving. I hear fewer complaints generally now, but there is a long way to go, and there's an awful lot that needs to be done to sort of keep the ping and frame rate and experience, for want of a better description, from basically they need to get it to where it needs to be.
Right.
If that makes sense.
One thing I wanted to mention was I think the next thing we have on our list is frame rate, right?
Yep. FPS issues. They're aware and pushed some fixes on PC and Mac a few days ago, with plan to add more fixes in future incremental patches.
See, with Thieves Guild, I know they mentioned that they inadvertently introduced something that caused a lot of frame rate issue drop. Like with this patch itself, it's an external issue that if they had rolled out these issue or this patch with the previous DLC, we probably wouldn't have been seeing quite the frame drop as we are in this one, because this was something new that was introduced with this patch, because I know they said they were working on it. So I don't know. Like, I've been hearing multiple things about Cyrodiil, and frame rate aside, which I'll talk about here in a second, definitely having some issues with frame rate. Even I'm having issues with it. And I don't have a beast rig like Nate. Like, I really don't. It's an older rig, but I've never really had too many frame rate issues. But in certain areas like Mall of Lorcage, oh my goodness, the frames drop so much. But
that should be less about that's less about latency and more about physical how they've coded the game.
Right, and that's what I was getting on to with that. Whatever they did, this latest patch that has been causing the drops doesn't just affect Cyrodiil, it affects everything. So Lawrence asked in chat, what kind of NIC do you have, Nate?
What kind of what?
Network interface card. Anything special or
no? Just standard Ethernet out of my. I have a Asus. What's it called? Republic of Gamers, is it? Motherboard, and I have Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet going straight out of that straight into my router, and I have 200 megabit fiber optic connection. So I don't think it's the connection. My ping to the server is 5 milliseconds. So I don't think it's that.
Right. I love how British say router. Router.
Routes. Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's just something I'm sitting there thinking about. I'm like, yeah, I say router, but okay. All right.
Yeah, we say router, Nokia, not Nokia, a bunch of other things that I get comments on my tech show, like, hey, you say Nokia wrong. We actually do say Nokia wrong. We should say Nokia, because that's actually how they say it in Finland.
The branded name.
Yeah.
Nice.
For some reason, everyone says Nokia here.
I like it. All right, let's continue on.
All right, sounds good. Charges abilities, they don't work 100% of the time, we know, especially on uneven terrain. One of the ideas they're looking at is changing from charges to teleports.
Right, and I think I put that in quotes because what it does now is the charges have to create pathing. So, like they said, with uneven terrain, charges sometimes just don't go off right or do whatever. What's really funny is I always make the comment about, our favorite toppling charge, the one for the Templar abilities. It now affects all of them, so it's not just that one that's not working. But one of the things they're trying to figure out is maybe it would just be easier to remove the charge portion where it tries to figure out the pathing and convert it to a teleport, where whenever you align, it just ports you from position A to B rather than trying to find pathing. I guess it will probably follow the same thing as, what is it, Streak? I think.
Yeah, never played that class.
Yeah, me neither.
But not much.
Yeah,
I have, but not mine.
I don't like Sork anyway, but that's the premise of it. They're complaining about the pathing issues, and they're thinking one of the fixes that they're mulling about. And again, this is not confirmed. It's just I love how they just sit down on ESO Live, and I know some people, they get a lot of hate for this, and I hate the people who give them hate for this, because one of the things they like to do on ESO Live is just chat, give us what their idea is. It may not ever come to fruition, but they try to give, this is what we're thinking about doing, and provide your feedback one way or the other. They're trying to be very open about how they're building the game, which is more than a lot of developers, and it's just like they're trying to have a friendly chat going, hey, this is what we're attempting to do, and I like that. But that's one thing they're trying to do.
Definitely. Next up, Radiant Destruction. Controversial at the moment on the forums, but the team likes where it is at currently. Okay, forums, stop trying to nerf my freaking Magic Templar. Alright.
And the reason why I highlighted this one is because people have been complaining on the forums, it's way too powerful, and
it is, let's be honest. It's very powerful.
Well, it's an executability. It's supposed to be. They were saying the same thing with any of the other executes. If I get you up close with Executioner, I'll rip you apart, and I've done so in various PvP. If I get close to you, I'll murder you with Executioner if you're low enough health. And that's what they've been saying. They're like, listen, guys, we looked at it. It's actually, the people who were complaining about it, they were like, it's powerful, but it's supposed to be. And we like how it's looking right now. We actually don't feel like it's overpowered. By our metrics, it's not that overpowered. It's no proxy detonation, that's for sure. But they're like, it's not that overpowered right now. So,
right. Compared to the other executes in the game, it's fairly even. So
yeah,
I would agree. It's one of those things where it only bugs me because I don't use it and other people do, and therefore I die from it. So, I want everyone else to be weak so I can carve them into pieces.
I just want everyone else to be weaker than me. That way I can beat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have 88% crit rating on my DK dual wield.
Oh, so right.
I enjoy shredding people with that thing. Right. And I don't like it when the tables are turned on me.
I don't like being shredded. I like to shred. I don't like being shredded. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the complaints that are on the forums, not all, but a lot of them are just because someone got beat by it and therefore they complain. I'm not on the forums saying you have to nerf proxy detonation, even though I got killed by it multiple times, or Ring of Vicious Death. It's a play style that can be countered. We just don't group up, right? You can proxy det me if it's a one-on-one, no one would be dumb enough to use proxy det because it doesn't really do much. It's like, yeah, okay. It really is only effective if you are, in a group. That's what it's meant to be. So unless it's really, there's a reason for it to be nerfed one way or the other or fixed, a lot of people complain just because they're not using it and getting crushed. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
It keeps it fun. It keeps it fun.
Mitchell, I will tell you right now that I will never allow the Tales of Tamriel chat to get like ESO Live. If it ever gets like that, I will literally just take ban everyone and just do it, you know, like even.
If people get salty, they get banned.
Oh yeah, ESO Live doesn't ban anyone because they're, you know, it's like, who cares? Oh no. I don't really care. I don't need you to be here live on my show if you're causing issues. So yeah, screw you. Yeah, if it ever gets like that, that's it. They're gone. I will ban them in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And I actually have mods in the chat who will do the same thing. And if anyone's causing any issues, they have free reign to ban them. I don't care. So, yeah. I just had to say that because I saw Wicked Wolf saying how the ESO Live chat has just become a giant cesspool, which it really has.
It has. It's not good.
It's not good at all. And it's just not good. It is definitely not good.
Nope. So,
Arcaneer in chat says, yeah, no democracy here. I have the power. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Man, Arc, you got it.
There's a reason why I put Arc there.
Right? That's why he's a tank.
Yep.
Takes the lead. All right. So next up, PvP vendor complaints of traits, especially for PvP. Examining feedback idea, purchases receive impenetrable traits while gold. Wait, I think I said that wrong. One idea is to have AP purchases receive impenetrable traits while gold is infused. There we go.
Yeah. There you go. You got it.
Which is a good idea.
But and this is something they talked about. They mentioned that the mob was never designed, or not the mob. I'm doing dungeons at the moment, so I'm talking mobs because I'm fighting things. For people who are watching the show live and they're seeing me run dungeons, let me know if you guys actually like this kind of thing, because I'm trying to get our center box when we don't have guest or stuff that we need to use the center box for anything. As long as I'm not having any PC issues that are causing me not to be allowed to do this, I'll try to do something interesting in the game. But yeah, they were saying like the PvP vendor was meant to be just kind of like when you run the dungeons. When you're running the dungeons, it's a crapshoot what you're going to get, right? Like that's how they designed it to be. They want it to be like you're not going to get the best in slot every single time. But I guess there were complaints that people aren't getting they feel like they're not getting a good trait for them. At least it hasn't been well fitted, okay? That's all I'm going to say right now. At least I've never seen it once as well fitted, because that's all I ever get when I do dungeons is freaking well fitted constantly.
Well, it's not random, right? You could see what it is before you purchase it.
Yeah. No, people are complaining that, and see, this is something else where people like complain. It's been out 2 weeks. Like, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks since it's come out on PC. And it's supposed to be random. Like, some weeks you may be like, oh, that's a perfect trait. Like, I think even people who were looking at Morag the other day, I went and looked at it as soon as I saw the Morag or Helm. And I'm like, oh, or shoulders. I'm like, oh, maybe I should go get it. Even though I have a bunch that actually aren't terrible traits. Like, I have like a reinforced, which is fine. It's not best. Infused was better, but it wasn't worth 100,000 to me. I'm like, it's not really worth it. But I don't know. I sometimes I don't get why people are complaining about certain things. Yeah, it's not best in slot for you, but you know. But Zos is listening to feedback and is going, okay, well, what we may end up doing is, well, for PvP players, they'll have a lot of AP anyway. If they want in pen on their stuff, we'll just make the when you buy it with those points, the alliance points, it'll be impenetrable. It'll be a PvP trait versus if you buy it with gold, it'll be a PvE trait, more or less.
Makes sense.
Right.
You can earn AP. You can earn like 200,000 AP in a day in Cyrodiil easily.
Andrew,
not easily, but I earned about 150,000 yesterday, and I didn't even get out of bed till 1:30.
Andrew in chat gave me a good idea. He's like, you just use pre-recorded footage. I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea. Now I just got to remind myself to use the pre-recorded footage. Like I always, when I'm playing, I forget to, I'm like, I've thought that too. Like, oh, I could just use pre-recorded footage. Now, Cat, please leave. But I always forget. So it is the way that it is. All right, Avi.
Okay, where are we? Random audio issues since launch of Thieves Guild. So that's all it says, plain and simple. I guess we're having some audio issues. I have not noticed it, but I guess it's a thing.
I've heard of some other people mentioning it too, where audio will just cut out or play the wrong sound effect or kind of sound staticky, and their sound guys are actively working on it, trying to figure out what the issue is. So, yeah, I guess we'll see, I guess.
Yep. Well, the next one is a bug that I actually have for people in our guild been having, and that's a bug where you can't revive using soul gems.
That's me!
Hey, that's you. Well, there you
It's
go.
actually happening to me, and it's driving me nuts. When we were doing the trial the other night, move out of here, cat. Seriously, I do have people who want to take you. I will give you away.
I will have him.
See, Nate wants you. I will give you to Nate. I will put you in a box with little air holes and ship you across the water. She's just looking up at me like, no, you won't. I'm like, no. She called my bluff. So, yeah, that has happened to me, because every time we were wiping on the Mall of Lorcage, I've had to have people, seriously, res me every time, or else I had to run all the way back from the beginning. Stop it.
Well, that's annoying.
It's very annoying. Like, I have to way shrine constantly. There is no other option besides that. Like, there's just nothing else.
Well, they said hopefully there'll be a fix in the next incremental patch, so hopefully Tuesday.
I really hope so, because it is annoying for me. And, you know, it's not just me. And they even mentioned that the issue with it is it's not everyone. It's the rare individual people. And I know some people were asking me, have you tried, excuse me, I'm wiping my nose because the cat up here, I got cat fur everywhere, and she will not leave me alone. She's so persistent. Have you tried disabling add-ons thinking it was an add-on? I turned every add-on off, and it's not any of my add-ons. So that's just, it's frustrating like crazy.
So it only happens to people who have 1 million plus gold.
Oh, maybe. I'm actually nearing on 2 million now.
Wow.
So
I'm actually broke.
I need about another 200,000 to hit 2 million. So
This is the first time in this game that I am actually pretty much broke after buying a bunch of what's it called, Drew Wax or whatever.
Drag wax,
And yeah, I bought a bunch of that, which wasn't even a lot, and then I bought the Engine Guardian. So my gold, all my characters have like 0 gold except Estelle, who has like 3,000. But I got a lot of stuff to sell.
just haven't done it yet.
I'm not part of it. I need to join a trading guild.
Some people in chat, I really want to mention some of these highlights. And thank you, chat. You guys are so awesome these past few weeks. You guys are just fantastic. Andrew says, honestly, Andrew. Why does that name sound familiar to me?
Andrew said Andrew.
No. Andrew, just as a random, because I want to know, are you Ixter, by the way? Just, if you are, that would be awesome. I just was curious.
It's going to be awkward if he's not.
It's not, but maybe I'm wrong. But he was saying the random audio issues in Cyrodiil, he would rather have the dropping audio issues than have bad Cyrodiil performance. Like the first week that the patch dropped, other than the audio issues, the Cyrodiilic performance was really, really good, but then Vicious Death came out and just killed everything. So that's how it goes. So yeah. All right, we'll continue on with this ESO live.
All right. Gotta find where I'm at again. Sorry, I'm farming at the moment. So
it is true. Andrew is indeed Ixter from TESO Nation. So everyone say hi to Andrew, aka
Hello,
Ixter. I love your podcast. In fact, actually, it was one of your podcasts that I heard about the audio issues as well as the better frame PvP, and even I hopped in PvP. So if you're not subscribed to TESO Nation, definitely check them out. I know they cover every aspect of the game, but while we cover more PvE, like that's just the way we're focused, Ixter plays a lot of PvP and has been doing a lot of that. So if you're not subscribed to them, go check them out. They're great.
I'm subscribing right now.
Yeah, they're another one. They're fantastic. I listen to them every time they come out. So, thank you for showing up in chat, man. As soon as I saw you, I'm like, wait a minute.
There we go.
Awesome.
I have subscribed. Azura's Star is a Deserted Wasteland is the most recent episode. I'm subscribing twice as hard just because of how much I agree with that.
Yeah.
As you will have heard if you were here for the beginning of the show, my friend.
It was an I really loved the second part of their podcast because they talked about what was it? It was the Elder Staves online again and Azure Stars Deserted. So there you go. Channel is Pay to Win TV on Twitch. So if you want to subscribe there for their live shows, check it out. There you go, buddy. Shout out for you. All right, let's continue on with the news. I've been talking and ruining Avi's flow, so.
Yeah, you have. No, I'm kidding. Okay, next up, Streak has a camera bug. They are aware and working on a fix. So,
Okay.
There you go. Rapid regen bug that allows you to spam it, working on fix. So, couple abilities getting fixed up. ZOS seems excited about cross-platform, but are cautiously waiting to see how it will work out before they determine if it is a viable fit for the Elder Scrolls Online.
I really like this one. I wanted to stop on this one because you remember our last episode. Our last episode got a lot of traction, both positive and negative. Like, it was really weird how we had like almost 20 upvotes on Reddit, which is weird because Reddit just downvotes us to oblivion. And we still only had a 68% upvote. So we had tons of people who both liked it and disliked the idea of a 1 mega server to rule them all. It was really, really weird, right? But I was hardening, like, a lot of the chat responses on Reddit was, oh, stop trying to make this happen. This will never happen, blah, 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 blah. And it was interesting to see them talk about it on there because they didn't make any comment one way or the other, but you know, they talked about some of the challenges that it would affect, like, oh, they have 2 partners, both partners have to be willing to play ball, so it's not like Final Fantasy 14 where it's only PS4 and you know who's there, Sony, but as well as you know, Xbox has to play ball. They have some other hurdles. And they're like, it's not insurmountable, but apparently even other people internally was blowing up Rich Lambert's mailbox with, oh my goodness, did you see this? Are we going to do it? Like, even internal people were asking Rich that. So he tentatively kind of said, listen, we're going to look at it and see how it pans out, see how things are going to work before we can really make a decision. We're not going to knee-jerk reaction any of this, but we're going to see how it will pan out and what it can mean for the future of Elder Scrolls Online. So he actually didn't say one or the other, but he was even excited for it. They're all tentatively, cautiously excited for it. So that's pretty awesome. Yay.
A safe approach to go by Rich. So don't get anybody riled up, you know.
Yeah. Andrew, aka Ixter in chat, says, I'd love 1 mega server. I just worry about ping for different regions. We actually had this conversation on the last episode where the EU ping didn't get much better when it moved over. The only people who kind of suffer are the poor oceanic people, but they would suffer no matter if it's in the US or if it's in the EU, because depending on where they're playing, they're practically traveling the same distance anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. Again, there's all. Even with this, it was a tentative statement saying that they're all, cautiously excited, and they're going to wait to see how it would work before they make any decisions for the Elder Scrolls Online. But it's comforting to know they didn't dismiss it directly out of hand. So, but there we go. All right.
There we go. All right. Only one. Last one, and is plans for next update to improve the effectiveness of reverse slice against groups to give stamina a viable Zerg bomb.
Mm-hmm. This was kind of an outcry about proxy detonation, how stamina doesn't really have a a solution for the Zerg bomb, or a Zerg bomb type thing. And they're looking at making the morph reverse slice, which is the other morph that no one ever takes for Executioner. Executioner is the single target morph. They're looking at making that a little bit more AoE-ish. So I'm really excited how that would work. Mitchell says Wings of Fate would be the biggest guild ever if there was a merge. Yeah, we do actually have quite a few console fans, which is really exciting, and I'm disappointed that we don't get to play with our console friends. So it is how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the news for us.
All right.
So back to you, sir.
All right. Not tons of news. We actually made a good discussion out of what little we had this week. But overall, the ESO Live was interesting. There was nothing groundbreaking, of course. It was nice to hear of the thoughts on the idea of a cross-platform for ESO. And, even though it was just a tentative, we're cautiously looking at it answer, it's still, it's really cool. Like, that they are acknowledging it, that even people other than Rich were like, dude, this is awesome. Are we going to do anything with this? There's a lot of people who are interested in it, and who knows? Not saying it's going to happen one way or the other. We're definitely not saying that because I don't want to get a lot of hate, because we did get a lot the last time. But we actually got a lot of love at the same point. About the idea of one mega server to rule them all. But all right, we have a discussion topic planned for today. It was a kind of a short one I put together that I thought was kind of interesting. But if you guys been following the official Elder Scrolls Online Twitter, I guess it was actually last week, which I think I texted everyone because it was like 2 hours after we were finished with our show. So we didn't actually get to talk about it in the show, but it was the 10th anniversary of the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion. And with that, the tagline more or less pretty much said that congratulations to Oblivion. 10 years ago, you saved Martin Septim. Are you ready to return to Kvatch? And I didn't really think much about it because I kind of looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's neat. Homage to another Bethesda game. I love that. And then I stared at the picture for a minute and looked at it and went, oh my goodness, that's Kvatch as seen through the Elder Scrolls Online. So they actually posted a little teaser for Kvatch, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, the next DLC we're getting is Dark Brotherhood, which is supposed to take place on the Gold Coast. So if you look at a map of Oblivion, you'll see that Kvatch is part of the Gold Coast, right on the outskirts, a little bit inland. So they were showing us off Kvatch. And that was really exciting for me. So let me pull up my notes here, because I want to make sure I say this right. The question I want to ask the group is kind of a twofold question. First off, do we feel like they were advertising a little too soon for Dark Brotherhood? Or do you think it was just a special occasion?
It was a special occasion, and it can never be too soon to get your fans excited about things that are coming. Okay. Is my personal view on this.
Yeah.
We want to be excited, right?
Yep,
oh, yeah.
100%.
And Dark Brotherhood is
something to be excited for.
It's probably hands down
very big part of the Elder Scrolls series, and most people's favorite.
Yeah, that's what I was going on. I'm glad you actually mentioned that, was the fact that it really is probably, if you were to take a poll of everyone who, plays the game, they would probably all mention that this was their favorite part of any Elder Scrolls. I mean, even Thais, who's not here at the moment, would say that her favorite part of any Elder Scrolls game is doing Dark Brotherhood. That's her favorite. She loves Dark Brotherhood.
I would agree with her.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I don't like being part of the Dark Brotherhood too much, their quest lines are always the best, and it's too hard to pass up.
And even chat saying never too late to promote your product. And the reason why I even mentioned this was because if you've been following the show or following the game, they have since they started this DLC thing every 3 months, they have a pattern. The pattern normally is when a new DLC launches, the next month is they still talk about the DLC. They promote a lot of people like streamers and things of that nature to promote all for that current DLC. In that next month, it's always very heavy for that next month. The following month, okay, the month afterwards, the second month of a quarter tends to kind of be dry. There's not a lot of news going on. It's just not really a lot. We're often scrambling for news during the second weeks. I'm sure even Ixter in chat, he will know this as doing another podcast, saying that the second month is generally you're scraping for news. Like you're the bottom of the barrel. You're looking for forum topics. You're doing all this stuff trying to figure out something to do. And then the next month, normally at the very end of the second month into the third month, is when they drop the DLC onto the PTS. So it's all hype up for the next thing. And even Ixter in chat, Andrew aka Ixter, says Dark Brotherhood is the single most marketable DLC ZOS will likely have for ESO for the next 2 calendar years. They need to pimp it out. It really is true. It's a popular DLC for sure. The next question I really had for you guys, Avi, did I actually get your answer? I don't think I did.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did. Okay. How far into Cyrodiil do we think the Dark Brotherhood will expand? Meaning, when we got Thieves Guild, we got Hughesbane. It's a fairly small zone, right? Like, it wasn't a whole lot, just that little bit of the peninsula, which is it's all good. Because they also spread back out into the older zones to bring back content all over. But they specifically said the Gold Coast. In our eyes, looking at the current Cyrodiilic map and then looking at a map of Oblivion, how much do you expect that they're actually going to add with the Dark Brotherhood for speculation?
Well, that would be Kavach, and what's next to Kavach? Is that Anvil?
Anvil.
They specifically said, I believe they said Anvil was going to be where you started the quest anyway.
Oh, I think it will go as far as that. I don't expect to see Skingrad, but it would be awesome.
They could totally do Skingrad. They're not that far away. Like, that whole area is basically those three cities, and Skingrad's quite big.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, because there's no reason to really leave it out, because what are they going to do there in the future?
It would leave a very small patch, and that was the thing I was really looking at, because if you look at the map of Cyrodiil, it's the triangle. Like, you can actually take that triangle and fit it onto a map of Oblivion, and the parts of Cyrodiil that were in Oblivion that don't really appear are the areas near the why am I drawing a blank on the delta, that whole bay. It's not Topor Bay, it's help me out, Avi, you like Oblivion, help me out, you know where I'm talking. The lower half of Cyrodiil, what is that bay called?
I don't know why I want to say the Iliac Bay, but
no, I think that might be the case. I'm pulling up my map right now. Not that it even really pertains to this. Oh no, it is Topol Bay. I didn't think it was Topol Bay, but that whole area down past Leowyn and that whole section, that's not part of it. Like, the whole triangle, really, you actually only see a little bit of Breville. Like, I believe you can see just a tad of Breville added on the map. Like, you can't even get into it, I don't believe. But the same, that triangle goes right across and would cut right along that line towards Skingrad. I don't know, like, why would you not want to add that little bit? If you didn't add Skingrad to that part, it would only leave a very small portion to be added in a future DLC, right? Am I wrong in that?
No, makes sense to me.
It's a small area.
And I wish I would have sat down and wrote down the lore, but Nate, Skingrad is currently, or in the time of Oblivion, which at the time of ESO is what, 900 years? 900 years after
ESO, yeah.
Yeah.
It's third era. I can't remember, third era, year 400 something.
Right. With that said, in Oblivion, the leader of Skingrad was a vampire. Do you think he was alive at this time?
No.
No?
Well, he may have been. I don't think we'll hear from him. I don't think he'll be in. I don't think it'll be mentioned in whatever they do.
I think it'd just be a massive, awesome, amazing kind of like Easter egg, really, if he was alive at this time. I couldn't remember if he was or not. That's what I was trying to think about. Was he alive at this time? Like, how old of a vampire is he?
The Count. We are talking about the Count, right?
Yes, the Count. The Count who runs Skingrad is a vampire. I don't know much about his lore other than the fact that he's a vampire.
Well, he wasn't always a vampire.
No one starts out as a vampire.
Him and his wife were both turned into vampires, like a few years before the Oblivion crisis.
Right.
I believe. So I don't.
Well,
I don't.
I got the answer. In the third era, 381, 50 years before Oblivion crisis, Janus and his wife Rona fell victim to vampires. So no, he won't be alive at that point.
There you go.
I couldn't remember if he was or not. Let's see. Actually, where is he? Oh, there. No. Thieves Guild housing and other stuff. Big, but nothing beats Skyrim fanboy hype like Dark Brotherhood. I'm trying to read here we go. Andrew says Gold Coast will only go halfway into Cyrodiil. There'll likely be a gap in the middle for the Colovian Highlands. Okay. As I'm pulling up my map of Cyrodiil, which I can't even do right now, so I'll have to do it outside. Okay, so you're thinking the Gold Coast. Well, see, even the Colovian Highlands. Okay. Well, at that point, they would cut it right there at right north of Kvatch, just pretty much that little bit, and then leave Skingrad and all of that for that strip for Colovian Highlands. But I guess that would probably seem to fit based on the size of current DLC.
Which is what I kind of was thinking at first, is that it would kind of cut off kind of more near Kvatch, and it'd be kind of small like Hughesbane.
Okay, so you're thinking they're going to go a little smaller and save the Colovian Highlands for a separate DLC.
Right.
Okay.
They're surely not going to do another. Like, that would be like the third DLC that's basically centered around Cyrodiil in some way.
Well, we still have all of the Topol Bay area as well, Leowyn and all that section. So they're...
I don't know.
Gentleman Sour, send me a message on Twitter about that. Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like... Now, again, Hughesbane was smaller. I get that. I don't know. I just feel like... and I get your point, Ixter. Like, I really do. Like, I wouldn't discount it one way or the other. I feel like, why would you not add Skingrad in at the same time? You know what I mean?
That would make it a really big DLC size if they'd added all three of those major cities and everything in between without completely squeezing them next to each other. You know, it'd almost be... They'd have to go more near the size of Hrothgar, which they pretty much kind of said they weren't doing. That was their big one. Yeah,
that's what Ixer just said in chat, that it would be about the size of Hrothgar if they did all that, and they said they wouldn't do that. See, based on the current trend, I know they said all of the DLCs going forward would be a little bit more to the size of Thieves Guild. Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood are going to be the more standard sizes, which I guess I'm fine with one way or the other. I mean, I'm just glad we're getting content on a very regular basis. I know there's some complaints one way or the other that there's not enough content. Like, even as a raider, I kind of feel that little bit of the fact they don't release trials as often. I kind of wish they would, because it's been a while since we've got other trials. But I can take or leave at this point, as long as they keep adding them. But I don't know. I just kind of hope that they would expand it out a little further. I just can't think of what they would, because the Colovian Highlands would only be one city, which would be Skingrad in just a small stretch. I guess
it'd be a great addition for PvP.
I don't think there's going to be any PvP in this, though, right?
No.
Oh, I see what you mean. If they did Skingrad.
No, yeah, for a separate.
Oh, you mean like a battleground kind of stuff? Because they've talked about battlegrounds.
There's an arena in. Is it in Anvil, or is it? There's an arena in one of the towns, in one of these gold Gold Road towns. It's either Anvil or Skingrad. I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is too. See, I was always under the impression I really don't want them to use any of live Tamriel for Battlegrounds, because I want to explore it. I would rather them use the Daedric realms because they can be. There's no set structure to how they were designed, so you could literally make a fair 3-on-3-on-3 battleground, if you will, out of the Daedric realms and have them fight over an orb of power or anything like that, if you really wanted to get gamey, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't feel like they should use Skingrad as a PvP side. I'd rather them do.
I mean, I would rather them do it too, but it's an idea. I'm more disappointed at the fact that Breville isn't going to be inside of this DLC. I know it's all the way down, far away, but I mean that has the statue of the Lucky Old Lady, which, like we mentioned last time, has the dead corpse of the Night Mother under it at this time.
That's probably why we can't get into the city, because you can actually see Breville in Cyrodiil live right now, but it's across the water and you can't get to it.
I'm just saying it'd be a perfect mixture if they added the Night Mother into that.
And
so I'm getting an add-on in my ear.
Right. There's a few good points I want to touch on in chat before we move on with this. Ixter's been great in chat. Got to remember, they have 11 years of DLC mapped out with 4 patches a year. Even if you factor in non-zone patches here and there, like with housing, perhaps they'd run out of real estate in Tamriel within a few years. At that rate, even by doing small patches. That makes sense, actually. I mean, I don't know. We have a good bit of actual Tamriel to explore yet, but is it enough? Like, would we run out at 4 patches a year? I don't know. I kind of hope that they would expand out and we'd get to see a few other places at this time. Like, there's other places we can visit as part of Nirn as a whole. It is what it is. All right. Anyone have any closing thoughts before we move on of this section, not the show?
Nothing other than that it makes me wonder what other game change they're going to bring in with the Dark Brotherhood. We don't think they're going to bring in housing, but possibly the barbershop stuff that they seem to be working on. We know we're not going to get spellcrafting because they've said that's basically not being worked on right now at all.
Right.
But is there anything else that we think they might introduce as part? I mean, as
jewelry crafting is still on the docket as a system,
and possibly, obviously, the remove of veteran ranks.
Well, that's coming with Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, they've said that, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Brotherhood's we're getting that Dark Brotherhood is the removal of veteran ranks. But I mean, as of systems, like I said, I think the only thing we really know of is housing, which we don't know a time for yet, and jewelry crafting. But I don't think we'll see jewelry crafting. Even based on our episode 100 interview, they said it's still something they're looking at, but it's not ready.
Oh well.
Yeah, and barbershop as well, etc.
Right.
Which I still find to be terrifying from a law-breaking perspective.
Oh, Ixter actually just brought some up that I completely forgot about. Poison crafting, possibly, with Dark Brotherhood. It would be a great time, lore-wise, to introduce it. I don't know if we'll see it, but they have mentioned that it's something they're looking at, and I can't think of a better time, lore-wise, to actually introduce poison crafting than with Dark Brotherhood. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. I could see that making sense.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for these next couple months. Like I said, the rest of this month and probably next month is going to be very tight for news for the show, just because it's that lull phase. The new DLC's been out for a while. Oh, I just got into another group. That's awesome. The new DLC's been out for a while, and people are getting used to it. They're fixing bugs, and then they'll start the hype train with actual Dark Brotherhood in the end, near the end of the second month into the third month of this quarter. So probably around May-ish. Wait, is that... No, May would be the end of the quarter. No, it wouldn't. June's the end of the quarter. So May-ish, by the end of May, we should probably start seeing stuff. So
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second. All right. We're going to move on to our Tales section where we get to talk about what we did in ESO today, this week, and all time forever. It's amazing. Avi, why don't you go ahead and go first, because I'm sure you're just going nuts wanting to talk about what you wanted to do.
Sure, I'll talk about it. Sadly, I didn't write it down, so let's pull it from the top of my head here. We got this. So I got all my VR16 armor crafted this week. So let's see if I can remember everybody I wanted to give a shout out that helped me to do this. Obviously, you Aggelos, Zakir, Slayton, Krabby, Amanda Gray. I hope that's everybody. All of you, thank you so much. You guys were awesome. You know, I had Krabby and Amanda both crafted me yellow quality staffs, and obviously I got my I'm not on my Templar. My set of Trinamax Daler. I got really lucky, but right before work I went and ran one of the what's it called? One of the dailies in Rothgar, and I got the Trinamax Valor necklace, which was awesome because that was the last piece I needed. I got my the robes and Giuliano's and all of the Giuliano sets set to purple quality at the moment, and I'm currently saving up the mats to make it all gold. Ooh. Even though I'm kind of stopping that right now because I just got the Engine Guardian Helm, so if I get the shoulders, my whole set's going to change again. But that's all right. I have another character I can put it on as soon as Dark Brotherhood drops and we lose these damn veteran ranks. Then I can just put this armor all on my sorcerer.
Now, all this stuff you're doing is in preparation for your new character, right? Like you're making it for them, or are you making it for your Estelle?
Oh, it's all on Estelle.
Oh, you're making this for Estelle. Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As soon as my new character is going to take a lot of time to get ready because I'm going slow with him.
Right.
You know, I'm enjoying the story, so I'm not expecting to hit level 50 for a good while. I think right now he's level 12, something like that.
Oh no, dude. I think you'll get there sooner. Like VR16, I could say, but even by going slow,
I have no intentions on going VR16 with him. I plan on getting him VR1, and then pretty much just questing until I get gold content open, and then I'm just gonna go sky shard hunting.
Right.
So, because that's all. Sky shards are all I really need before the Dark Brotherhood drops and vet ranks go away. Because as soon as those go away, then you know there's no difference between him and Estelle.
Right.
Besides his name and his sex.
And his sex,
so,
right?
Yes, he is a male. He is a male named Avi Optimal. I finally have a character named after myself, which is kind of weird because like. Sometimes, you know, Zone chat can get a little crazy, but sometimes I have fun when I'm leveling a new character and I jump into conversations in Zone chat, and all of a sudden I start talking with people and I look down and I realize, oh shoot, it says Avi Optimal.
Well, at least if anyone's following the show, they'll know it's you talking in chat because
I know, but I can't be all dumb and weird with everybody.
I've had a couple people message me already. Actually, that's how I met Zakir. Was because I was in Rothgar doing dungeons and just talking with people and whatnot, and he sent me. Are you that Aggelos, the one from Tales? I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's me. And oh, that's right, they did. Ixter just thank you, Ixter. You were fantastic, by the way. Avi, tip for you from Ixter. You say thank you to him. They've actually already removed the silver gold restrictions. So as soon as you hit 50, you can do both.
Oh my god.
Now you'll have to be careful because the other stuff will be VR6. But if you're VR1 and make yourself good gear, you can easily do VR6 or get help.
Wait, they removed that with Thieves Guild?
Yeah, you can go anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they did that with Thieves Guild.
That's why I'm currently leveling up my brother's character to VR, so that he can come into some of the other zones with me and do the public dungeons and things.
Things that require if he gets a few levels, he can get up there and do it. Your only restriction will be they didn't. they haven't changed the leveling of it. It's it's still VR, like 6 or whatever.
My VR1 Templar will handle a VR, some VR10. He got it.
Yeah, like if honestly, since they made the change in update 1 or 2 a long time ago, where they nerfed how hard the silver and gold content is, I go in with my VR2 and I kill stuff in Craglorn that's VR 12, so you shouldn't have an issue.
No, I don't think I'll have an issue at all.
No.
And that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. That makes it a lot easier. So yeah, my new character is going to be all set, soon enough. But I think by that time I'll hopefully have the Engine Guardian shoulders and be crafting him a whole new set. And if that's the case, then I'll just let Estelle keep the Julianos and the Trinamax Veiler,
right,
and the Molokina shoulder that she's currently wearing right now.
So yeah. Now, are you running pledges every day? When you can?
I'm running every day if I can. I've been running them a good amount. Obviously, I just worked the last 3 days, so I didn't get to do them every day. I ran them yesterday, and then I'm so bad with names. Me, Zakir, and 2 others. I'm sorry, guys. I usually have all my tales written down on my computer, and I do not right now. But we went farming for the Engine Guardian, and one of the guys that we were running with was just about to go and buy the Engine Guardian helm, and he actually got it infused.
Oh, nice.
So he saved a good 100K. So good for him. And then. Yeah, but we've been running pledges a good amount. I've been running them with Zakir, that dude in his shiny gold or shiny glass armor. I call him the shiniest thing in Elder Scrolls Online.
Chat saying, "Yep, your camera now shows a very beautiful scene of your ceiling."
Isn't it a nice ceiling?
It is. I mean, you guys missed it before because last episode. It was focused on Avi's crotch the entire time, so. I mean,
just for a second.
That's just for those who are on the show get to see that. Sorry, everyone.
That was a behind the
scenes stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I have everything's kind of set weird right now because normally I have a nice setup, but since I'm not playing games on my laptop anymore, I just kind of pulled it out and set it on my desk for the show. So if I lift my hand up from my keyboard, I smack it. So I kind of smacked it, and the whole thing flew up for a second. But then, anyways, yeah,
it's all good.
That's really been my gameplay. I've been doing a lot of farming. Like I said, I think last episode, I've been running around Hughesbane. That's what I'm doing right now, just collecting a whole bunch of ancient silk and killing a bunch of poor lions. Lions. I've killed so many lions.
Oh, I need to do that as well. That was something that was added in, which I found out was an issue of why I've been running out of Void Steel, and probably part of the reason why you're getting tons of when you mentioned about Hughesbane. Other than it's smaller, so everything's a little bit more condensed to make the loop. They made a change in one of the patches where you no longer get the. It goes to your max level instead of getting a little bit of both. Like before you would get you'd see Void Steel and Rubedite. Now it's just Rubedite if that's what you can get.
Right. Which is why I'm playing on my Khajiit Nightblade right now, because he's my crafter. So I've actually been using him again a little bit. He came back to life.
Nice.
Now he's farming for me. So
I'm at this point now where I'm so low on the VR 14 materials, and I have so much of the other stuff that I'm having a hard time completing dailies. Slayton was so nice to be able to put some Void Steel in the guild bank for me today, so that way I would be able to actually do my
in that case, I'll stop running by all of this Nightwood and start picking it up.
Yeah, I mean, I use it every day.
I have a lot of VR 14 mats. I'll put them in the bank too. I don't need them.
If you're not going to use them, I use them every day.
I don't do crafting grits, so.
Oh, I do. I can't get enough of them.
I mean, I'm sure I will start soon enough, but as of right now, no, I don't do that.
Right.
I'm just working on my new character. I log on him every day. I feed the horse, trying to get that leveled up. Oh, another thing I did, they had a sale on riding skills not too long ago, and right in that same time, my ESO account renewed. So I bought 30.
Oh.
30 of the speed. So my guy is already. No, don't beat me to that. He beat me to the aspect arena. What a jerk. And anyway, so he all my. I've already talked about this before. All of my characters' riding skills are really bad because I just never went and fed their horses. I think Estelle only has like 25 speed and 0 on the others, and she was my highest. So you can kind of get an idea there where I'm at. So he's level 12, and he already has higher riding skills than any of my other characters.
Man,
I took advantage of that.
I really feel bad because I just put money on all my... So all 8 characters are a full 60, 60, 60 on my account.
Wow, that's impressive.
Just because what I did was I sat down, I calculated the amount of money I would need to max it out, and I put that exact amount of money on a character and parked them right in front of the stable merchant. And every morning, this was a daily thing before I left for work, I would log in and go to each character and purchase mount speed or anything. Like that's just what I did until they finished.
See, but if I did that, then I'd have such a harder time deleting my characters.
That's the point I'm at right now. I'm sitting there going, after my my one Khajiit died here, like we had to put her down, I wanted to remake her in ESO, just kind of like a memorial kind of deal. But I already made a Khajiit after the cat that you see who annoys me during shows. Well, she's still alive, so I'm like, well, maybe I should just delete her and remake her as a, as the Khajiit. But she's already full maxed out, 60, 60, 60. You know what I mean? Like, she's already maxed out. I'm like, oh, and all my slots are maxed out. So I can tell you, I never planned on using the barbershop except for this, because I want a name changer and redo her to look like my kitty I had to put down. So that way she lives on in ESO. So she'll have a little memorial in ESO.
Oh.
Right. See, so yeah, I mean, I've had 9 veteran rank characters, and 9. I deleted 2. I deleted 3. My poor characters. They come and go. Their lives are so short. I believe I've deleted 3, and I have plans on deleting another one pretty soon. So.
Oh no! Don't do it, Avi. Say it ain't so.
He's DC.
Oh well, then okay, do it.
It's my DC Sork because I want an Ebonheart Sork.
Right.
So it's like, well, why not just kick her? I only have to level her to level 50 before.
Right.
Dark Brotherhood, so it's so easy now. It's like, oh, I'll delete anybody and make anybody anytime I want. I could level somebody to level 50 in a week, not even a week. I've done it faster.
That's what I'm kind of working on right now. Is like if you're watching the stream right now, the character I'm playing is my second Templar. She's going to be my Magicka DPS Templar. Because I have a stamina one already who also has a tank build. She's going to be a Magicka based and have a tank build or a heal build. I haven't really decided yet. But I'm just trying to get her to 50. That's the whole idea, is just to get her to 50.
What level is she right now?
34, almost 35.
Oh, you're almost there.
Yeah, but I don't get a ton of time to play.
Those are the annoying levels. So.
Yeah, it's always once I get to about 45 or so, is when I'm like, okay, then I get the burst, I start doing everything. You know what I mean? Like, this is the hardest time, like round my mid-20s to about 45, because questing-wise, I'm in Shadowfen, it's like, ugh.
Well, I know a very nice grind for 45 to 50 that you can level up in.
Because that's where I'm at right now with my brother's character.
Let me try to pull it off the top of my head. Nate, I might have to pull the actual quest out for you a little later, but pretty much during the main quest line, there's what quest is it? What quest is it?
So it's during the
I
main
can't think of
quest.
it's during the main quest, and it's in Cold Harbor. So pretty much what you do is you go in, and they have like 3 nice zombie pools in this little room. You go and you pull them, you kill them all, and you gain a nice amount of XP. You walk through the door, you turn around, you walk right back out. They're all back, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
a solo. It's a solo instance, so you're the only person there. So
Okay.
it's just you and zombies. Pop an XP scroll. God, it goes by really quick. And you can even do that at veteran rank 1, and you'll have veteran rank 1 mobs.
See, I don't think I
It
can do
just-
that right now because I'm not doing any sort of quests. I'm just basically doing mob grinding. So I want Andy to do all the quests and things. But
Well, that's what it is. It's mob grinding, but it's part of the quest. I mean, you don't have to complete this quest at all as long as you get to it, and then you can run in and you can do all this, and you can just run out of the door. And
well, if you can remember the name of that, then I'll look it up and I'll go and do that because I'm in Cold Harbor. It's weird. That's the level I'm at right now, and I'm in Cold Harbor grinding Spider Daedra right now.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a harborage quest, so
Yeah.
Oh,
not
right,
an
I see.
actual card harbor, but yeah, that's pretty much my gameplay. I'll pull it up. I'll start looking for it right now.
Yeah,
And,
because that would be great.
Once I find it, I'll interrupt.
Okay. Yeah.
I like interrupting.
Thanks. And if anyone in chat knows of a good grinding spot for kind of around level 40 sort of level, then please let me know. Mob based, ideally not quest based, so I can just go and find it and annihilate some zombies. Would be wonderful.
Right.
For EP, ideally.
I was gonna say I know some good ones for AD when you hit higher vet ranks, but
Yeah,
I
I
guess
just
you
need to get
got
into
some time. You
vets.
got some time to get there. Yeah.
Right. All right. We're going to go real quick through this. Nate, I want you to talk your gameplay. I'm going to skip mine because it's already getting a little late, and it is Easter Sunday, so I have some other stuff I need to do. So we're going to roll through this next little bit. Nate, why don't you give us what your gameplay was, and then we'll go right into the reading.
Yeah, well,
real
basically...
real fast. It's Halls of Torment. Sorry.
Halls of
That's
Torment.
the quest-
Halls
that's the
of
quest in
Torment.
The main quest. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Halls of Torment. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, at the moment, I've been doing some leveling for my brother, just as we've talked about just now, just getting him to the point that we can take advantage of the change in Thieves Guild that allows us to go into any zone once you've hit veteran rank, which would be great. And apart from that, I've been mostly experimenting in Cyrodiil this week, just enjoying some of the changes and mostly not enjoying the rest of them, as we've discussed a little earlier in the show. So I've been doing a lot of that. We've not finished the Thieves Guild quest line yet, so that's still to come. And that's about it. It's actually been a bit of a quieter week for me because I've been buying a house and doing a whole bunch of other stuff, so I've not been playing a great deal this week. But apart from that, I think that's about everything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll skip my gameplay because I actually have it all written down on another thing, and I was gonna grab it, but we're running a little late and have a few other things I really want to get done with before we call the show. But yeah, it's a fantastic show. We've really had a good lot of stuff. Chat has been fantastic, so we've had a lot of conversations. Let's go ahead and roll right into the lore reading, Nate, if you're prepared.
I am prepared. I am like a scout. I am always ready. He says entirely as a way of disguising the fact that I am not, in fact, ready. Okay, let me just going to move my character into a little pool here in Cold Harbor. Just leave him examining the wilderness and not getting killed while I bring up this reading. So this is a reading. And I decided to pick this reading because we've been talking about Cyrodiil, and we've been talking about Dark Brotherhood, we've been talking about Kvatch and Anvil. So I picked a book that you first discover in Oblivion. I think you can get this book in ESO as well. So it was obviously written before the Third Era. It's called The Brothers of Darkness. It's a history of the Morag Tong and also the Dark Brotherhood, of course. And it's written by Pelan Assi, which I will not snigger at. Feel free to snigger. Anyway, the Dark Brotherhood has no shortage of business opportunities, and accounting, I have been informed, is the Brotherhood's favorite euphemism for an execution. While they are officially considered an unlawful organization in every corner of the Empire, like the Thieves Guild, they are almost as universally tolerated. As their name suggests, the Dark Brotherhood has a history shrouded in obfuscation. Their ways are secret to those who are not themselves brothers of the Order. Brother is a generic term. Incidentally, some of their deadliest assassins are female, but they are often called brothers as well. How they continue to exist in shadow, but be easily found by those desperate enough to pay for their services, is not the least of the mysteries surrounding them. The Dark Brotherhood sprang from a religious order, the Morag Tong, during the Second Era. The Morag Tong were worshippers of the dangerous spirit Mephala, who encouraged them to commit ritual murders. In their early years, they were as disorganized as only obscure cultists could be. There was no one to lead the band, and as a group, they dared not murder anyone of any importance. This changed with the rise of the Night Mother, which obviously we come to in Oblivion. All leaders of the Morag Tong, and then afterward the Dark Brotherhood, have been called the Night Mother. Whether the same woman, if it is even a woman, has commanded the Dark Brotherhood since the Second Era is unknown. What is believed is that the original Night Mother developed an important doctrine of the Morag Tong, the belief that while Mephala does grow stronger with every murder committed in her name, certain murders were better than others. Murders that came from hate pleased Mephala more than murders committed because of greed. Murders of great men and women pleased Mephala more than murders of relative unknowns. We can approximate the time this belief was adopted with the first known murder committed by the Morag Tong. In the year 324 of the Second Era, now that's before ESO, I believe.
Yes.
Slightly. Although we are in Second Era. The potentate Vesidu Shai was murdered in his palace in what is today the elsewhere kingdom of Senchal. In a brash move, the Night Mother announced the identity of the murderers by painting Morag Tong on the walls of the potentate's own blood. In the potentate's own blood, sorry. Previous to that, the Morag Tong existed in relative peace, more or less like a witch's coven, occasionally persecuted but usually ignored. In remarkable synchronicity, at a time when Tamriel, the arena, was a fractured land, the Morag Tong was outlawed throughout the continent. Every sovereign gave the cult's elimination his highest priority. Nothing more was officially heard of them for hundreds of years. It is more difficult to date the era when the Morag Tong re-emerged as the Dark Brotherhood, especially as other guilds of assassins have sporadically appeared throughout the history of Tamriel. The first mention of the Dark Brotherhood that I have found is from the journals of the Blood Queen Alimahera of Hegath. She spoke of slaying her enemies by her own hand, or if necessary, quote, with the help of the Night Mother and her Dark Brotherhood, the secret arsenal my family has employed since my grandfather's time. This was written in the 412th year of the Second Era, so one can surmise that the Dark Brotherhood had been in existence since at least 360, of the Second Era, of course, if her grandfather had truly made use of them. The important distinction between the Dark Brotherhood and the Morag Tong was that the Brotherhood was a business as much as it was a cult. Rulers and wealthy merchants used the order as an assassin's guild. The Brotherhood gained the obvious reward of a profitable enterprise, as well as a secondary benefit that rulers could no longer actively persecute them. They were needed. They were purveyors of an essential commodity. Even an extremely virtuous leader would be unwise to mistreat the Brotherhood. Not long after Alimahera's journal entry came perhaps the most famous series of executions in the history of Dark Brotherhood. The Colovian Emperor Potentate Saviran Chorak, and every one of his heirs were murdered on one bloody night in Sun's Dawn in 430. Again, probably of the Second Era. Within a fortnight, the Colovial dynasty crumbled to the delight of its enemies. For over 400 years, until the advent of the warrior emperor Tiber Septim, chaos reigned over Tamriel. Though no comparably impressive executions have been recorded, the Brotherhood must have grown fat with gold during that interregnum. That's the end. So, a lot kicked off in the Second Era in terms of when it became the Brotherhood. How the dates play out, it's very close. It's certainly very close. What we're going to be doing in the Dark Brotherhood in the Second Era right now
I
He's
think
gonna
we're
be very, very...
582, if I remember correctly, of the second era.
Is that where we are in ESO?
Yes, I just
482?
482. Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5. It was just I was just listening to because I was logging off. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't watched the intro to the game in a while, and they actually announce it. Like in the year 482 of the second era. I know it's 82, but I can't remember if it's 4 or 5. To be honest,
I don't think it's 5.
Yeah, it's probably 4. Because the assassination of the potentate was only 50 years ago or so. So it wasn't terribly long ago that assassination happened. So we're close to those timelines, like very close. Like it's very, very close. But yeah. All right. I know, Nate, you picked that book because of the fact we were talking about the Gold Coast today as part of our discussion, and it fits well because that's where we're going to start seeing the Dark Brotherhood come in with the next DLC, which is super exciting. Definitely,
it is. And I'm going to try and pick books every week that tie into something relevant, either to our discussion topic or to the news of that week, or something along those lines, so that there's a little bit of consistency. Mm-hmm. But I'm super keen for people to suggest books as well, if you have an interest in a particular topic.
I really just want to make life hard on you, but I don't know if, like, we always try to pick books that would have existed around the time of ESO, because that's kind of what we focus on for lore. But I almost want to see when it was that Vivek created the 36 Lessons of Vivek, because I would love to do a series. Those. Come on, it's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, by the way, the book we just read, you can find it in ESO as well. It's slightly different. The text has been changed. So the book, it's kind of weird because it's opposite. Like you find the book first in Oblivion, but when you find it in Elder Scrolls, it is a version that obviously was changed for its appearance in Oblivion.
Right.
So it's a weird. I can't remember what bit about it is different, but a bit of it is different.
There's been a few books where, if you look at the Imperial Library, you'll see that there is a ESO version and then a normal version. Like sometimes it's minor changes, sometimes it's a very large change. But there are books that have different versions based on what game you're playing. And I actually think the 36 Lessons of Vivek, which I still want you to read, because who doesn't want to talk about vague references to Vivek's spear and then giggle at it? I mean,
well, you know what? We could do that as a special. Like we'll do that as an audiobook or something.
Yeah, because it's incredibly esoteric. It's just crazy. I love it. But yeah, we'll have to do that one day. But yeah, there are differences between some of the books, and that's the one thing I really love about Elder Scrolls lore. Like, I'm a big lore nut, but depending on who you talk to in Elder Scrolls and the way that they wrote the entire game, they wrote the game from a lot of the lore from the aspect of the people who were there experiencing it. So therefore, to one set of people, it's different than to another set. I mean, even if you look at the Dragon Breaks and the Miracle of Peace, the Warp in the West, depending on how you meant, or, you know, who you talk to, events were different. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the lore in the Elder Scrolls is so good, is because there is no absolute answer. It always leads us into going, what happened? Like, it's not like we read it and go, okay, that's happened and it's an undisputed fact. There's times where the lore is, we just don't know, because one person says it's this, one person says it's that. Kind of like, you know, our real world. Like, one person says this, one person says that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go, what is really the truth? Like, everyone says they were there, there's proof they were there, but it's different based on who you're talking to. And I like it. I like it a lot.
Happy times, my friend. Happy times.
Happy times indeed. I'm near the end of this dungeon, and I just realized why it's so hard. We have no tank. Spindle Clutch, normal.
Good old spindle clutch.
But we have no tank. No one signed up as a tank, or whoever clicked tank so they could get in actually isn't a tank. So
You can solo spindle clutch
well, yeah,
quite easily.
yeah, we're here. So that's what I'm doing. All right, guys, I'm actually going to save our mailbag. I'm sorry for later because I do have to get going pretty soon. And that's only because of today being Easter Sunday. So I'm going to save the mailbag. We did have a mail from a Sean Stewart. So, Sean, if you're listening to this, we'll get to your email next week, buddy. Sorry about I do want to talk about your email.
We've gone long today.
We have gone long, and it's a really good email. So I don't want to shorten the discussion on your email just because we didn't have time. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to sign off for today. So Nate, why don't you go ahead and go first, tell everyone your final thoughts for this show and where they can find you.
Well, my final thoughts are that I want more people who listen to this show to make an appearance in the EU Mega Server. So if you're listening and you want to be friends, and you do want to be friends, then hit me up on Lanxon101. That's my username on the EU Mega Server, LANXON101. Or just look for Miss Misa, who's my main character, and come and find me. Come hang out. If you want to do some Cyrodiil stuff, then I can help you through Cyrodiil. I know that place backwards, so you can rely on me for that as well.
Excellent. And they can follow you on Twitter at Nate ESO, right?
At Nate ESO, yes. Please do that.
Excellent. He needs more Twitter friends, so...
I do. On that account, I do, definitely.
Yeah.
I think my main account's got like 12,000 or something, but on this one, it's sadly a lot less.
Nice. Well, you'll get a friend request from Arkneer soon because he's going to make his EU DK tank again, so...
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, Avi, how about you, sir? Final thoughts where people can find you.
This was a great show. I'm really excited for the Dark Brotherhood, and I'd like to hear Nate read the Night Mother's truths sometime. So
Sure thing.
That's my suggestion right there.
You put that in our show notes, and I'll do that in a future episode.
Sounds good.
We should save that for when we start getting some Dark Brotherhood news, because that would really be good. You know what I mean? Like right when we start hearing the first little marketing schemes of Dark Brotherhood, that would be a really good one for theme.
Yeah, I agree. But besides that, yeah, great show. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. And you can find me in game on Steam, on Twitter, on PlayStation Network, anywhere you can find me, I'm there. And that's at Avi Optimal, AVIOPTIMAL.
Excellent. As for myself, you can find me in-game at Aggelos, AGGELOS, on the North American Mega Server. It's the only place that I play, but I do play as often as I may, which is a lot. Not as much as I'd want to, but a lot still nonetheless. You can find me on Twitter at Aggelos _WOF. You can follow the show on DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com, where we have all of our podcast episodes, all of everything that we do on the network, a lot of ESO guides, which I still need to get to updating completely, as well as Let's Plays, other podcasts, things like that. You should definitely go check all of that out. You can also follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork. So if you weren't here live, please show up live if you have the time. We record Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I want to give another special thank you to our chat room. You guys were absolutely fantastic. I want to give a special thank you to our Patreon supporters, including our newest Patreon supporter, Serena. I wanted to mention that at the beginning of the show, but unfortunately, we were moving forward, and I forgot to do it at the start, so I'm going to do it here at the end. So thank you for those who support us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork. We also have a Facebook group, facebook.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork, as well as Steam groups for Dungeon Crawler Network, and a PS4 community. So if you're interested in joining any of those, you can just search for Dungeon Crawler Network on Steam or on PS4, and we have groups of people who play there, and we look forward to getting to see everyone there. So thank you so much for watching this episode today. We hope that you enjoyed it, and have a great Easter, and we will see everyone here next week for episode 104. All right, have a great night, everybody.
The serpent lights the ancient sky, a thread of tainted stars. Evil stirs, and in its wake the souls of mortals sway. And sorrow reigns over fields of red, and spirits pace through the shadows cast by their grace. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strive, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn. Darkness strikes to blind the strong, but faith will guide our swords. Loyal hearts will stand as one and fight with shields of hope. Pride feels the deadly fire that devours our tower of gold. The drums of war will rage and roar till the sun burns bright once more. These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall. Brave the strong, reclaim every soul that belongs to the beauty of dawn.